Hello, everyone. Welcome. I am Dr. Dilsora Fozilova, and today we are going to continue our conversation on sociological theory. This week, you are studying feminism, and in this video, I will provide overview of feminism. In our next video, we will be discussing this week's reading, which is a text by Simone de Beauvoir, The Second Sex, one of the greatest writings in feminism. So, what is feminism? Feminism is one of a significant social, political, and intellectual movements that has transformed societies across the world. Feminism, at its core, seeks to challenge and dismantle gender inequalities while advocating for social, political, and economic rights of women and other marginalized genders. Though often framed as a movement focused on only women's rights, feminism ultimately seeks to rethink power, identity, and equality in a way that benefits whole society, not only women, but also men and marginalized genders. Feminism is not a monolithic idea. It has evolved over time with different waves. Each of them address different issues depending on the time period it was evolving and addressing various aspects of inequality from basic legal rights to more complex issues like systemic oppression, intersectionality, and identity politics. Throughout this lecture, we are going to explore the history of feminism, its key arguments and debates, and we will be talking about the broader implications it has for both men and women in society. By understanding feminism, we gain valuable insights into how societal structures shape our lives and how we can advocate for more just and equitable world for everyone in society. So I will share my PowerPoint and we will start discussing with the definitions to waves to main arguments and debates. Right, give me a second. Feminism. While I was looking for an image for the front page of the PowerPoint, I found this very empowering, colorful image that represents all kinds of women in society. So, feminism, what is the definition of feminism? Usually, I tell my in-person classes that I really don't like definitions. But we can pay attention to the parts of definitions that can provide some understanding of what we're talking about. Otherwise, definitions are like you will just read it or you will tell that and you will forget very fast. So if you look at the definition of feminism, what we see here is movement. It's a movement and it's social, it's political, and it's intellectual. So wide range of dynamics. So also we can see that it advocates for the rights and equality of women and other marginalized genders. It's not only about women. It seeks to address and dismantle systemic inequalities that perpetuate gender-based discrimination and oppression. So, formation of historical waves. As I mentioned in the beginning, there was so many different waves of feminism we went through, and one of them, the first wave of feminism, this was in 19th century and early 20th centuries. Feminism in that period focused on the biggest issues feminism had, which was women's suffrage, property rights, and access to education. And those are the main issues. The first wave feminism focused, and some of them is still coming, even that just we went through the second and third and fourth waves of feminism. Leaders like Susan Anthony and Elizabeth Cady Stanton in the USA and Emmanuel Pankhurst in the UK were pivotal in achieving women's rights to vote. So this wave of feminism focused on bringing women to the political arena, also providing them basic rights, like when they, for example, receive inheritance from their parents, they can have it. Before they did not have it. And then they could go to university to get education. Also, they can have children after the separation or divorce. They can claim their children. So those were the main things in the first wave feminism. So second wave feminism, on the other hand, focused on the different issues. At that time, that some of the issues were already addressed in the political arena. Women gained the right to vote. And then there was second wave that focused on the sexual and reproductive rights. And it was about what unwanted pregnancies can be addressed through abortion, workplace inequality and social inequalities. This wave introduced the famous slogan that was "the personal is political," which took the issues into the political arena, emphasizing that personal experiences of women were connected to broader social, political, and economic structures. Feminists like Betty Friedan, Gloria Steinem, they were one of some of the very active feminists that fought for this kind of rights and feminism. The third wave, at this time, the greatest thing that intersectionality, which is really, really powerful in understanding people's situations in different kind of experiences, came to play a very important role. Because women, for example, white women's experiences are different than people of color, women and the colored woman, right? And also poor women's experiences are different than rich women's experiences. Intersectionality provided another understanding of women's situation in society. Third wave feminism emphasized that women's experiences vary based on race, class, sexual orientation, and other factors. It also focused on reclaiming femininity and body positivity. These were the main issues in third wave feminism. So the third wave feminism focused on abolishing rape culture. You can see here the slogans are "My little black dress does not mean yes." Now, because we were already addressing some of the political and legal issues, now women could focus in more complex issues in society that it was like a rape culture, or it was about sexuality, or claiming their own body, and also different experiences of women. So it just went different areas in women's lives, or gender-based inequalities. So some of the main goals of feminism, the central goals of feminism focus on achieving equality and justice for all genders in various spheres of society. As I mentioned, although many people say it's about women's rights, but if woman gains equal rights to the other men, then that means the gender rights will be equal. So in that sense, it focuses on the inequality issues in society. It focuses on the equal rights and opportunities in employment, education, and politics, which was a huge deal at the time, and even today, we don't have enough women in politics. We don't have enough women in leadership, for example. There is all different kinds of opportunities for different kinds of jobs and education, of course. And in politics, if we think about Canadian politics, I think men and women in our higher politics becoming more equal than some other countries, but this is still a big issue considering, all these states in the world. Also, reproductive rights. It's still today, it is being contested, and people are still talking about that. Like recent developments in USA, for example, now taking away the rights we gain, that reproductive rights we gain through this feminist movements. It is about access to contraception, it's about access to abortion, safe abortions, and it's about reproductive health and care. Ending gender-based violence, addressing domestic violence, sexual assault, and harassment. I think there is a huge movement that trying to address these issues, but the historical development of gender inequality made this thing is very ingrained in society and then families. And, as much as we focus on ending this kind of violence, it still exists. And some of the very main focus of feminism even in our time. Equal pay is another issue that feminism focuses even today, that even today there is payments are not equal even in the democratic countries. We can take a look at the numbers, and there's so much more to do. Intersectional justice, addressing the way gender intersects with race, class, sexuality, and disability to create multiple layers of oppression. So intersectionality is, we will be talking in our other classes about intersectionality. Intersectionality helps us to understand individual women's experiences in society based on gender and all other inequalities. Key arguments of feminism. Of course, patriarchy is one of the historical developments in society. It's a system of societal structures in which men hold more power and dominance in society, in politics, in economic contexts. And another argument, intersectionality, the recognition of gender oppression is interwoven with other forms of discrimination, such as racism, classism, homophobia, and all other things. This concept is central to modern feminist thought, highlighting the needs to address all forms of oppression altogether. Reproductive rights is another key argument. As I mentioned, reproductive rights was just one piece at a time, gained over many, many years. And today, in today's world, it's again being, sometimes taken away when it comes to, that conservative and liberal parties, and some of them just trying to push their advantages in society through finding how people feel about this very complex issues, and often women's rights again being tarnished by some of the political groups. Gender roles and socialization. Feminists argue that traditional gender roles are social construct which dictate that women should be passive and nurturing while men should be aggressive and dominant. All of them are socially constructed and harmful for both genders, because violence against women is not only women's issue. It is actually men's issue, because women are not the ones who are oppressing the other gender, but being oppressed. So therefore, violence against women is men's issue. So that kind of like a very deep argument. The male gaze, a concept from feminist film theory coined by Laura Milway. It referred to how women are often portrayed in media and arts as objects for male consumption rather than as autonomous individuals. Now, that is becoming a very big deal in media studies today. What kind of standards media is setting for women? For example, there is a documentary called Killing Us Softly that is about how women are portrayed, that is not reachable, that the standards for women's body oppressing them. They are constantly trying to achieve that certain, whatever the structure for ideal woman is, or the makeup, or like all of those that standards media develops towards woman is unachievable. Therefore, it creates a lot of anxiety and depression in women's world. So those are some of the key arguments in feminism. And feminism's impact in society is huge. I mean, the woman has been gaining their rights and freedoms piece by piece. And sometimes feminism is viewed as something evil, trying to come between men and women. But those people who are saying that does not understand that women did not have the rights they have today. They could not vote. Maybe voting is not a big deal for some people, but it certainly showed their, they are active participants in society. They are equal participants in society. And then their legal rights for wealth and inheritance, their rights towards their children. Those are the very, very significant issues in society. Sometimes we overlook why these things are so important. And every time when women declined their children, it was such a painful experience for them. Until we make these things right in society, more and more women can experience those stuff. There are many other stuff that, for example, equal pay for equal work, and it was a representation of women in politics, the workforce, and the leadership positions. And those are just a working progress. This is started long time ago. We are getting somewhere, yet we are not there. We have to keep walking. We have to keep fighting to gain these rights in society. Also, feminism impacts shifting cultural norms about gender roles, sexuality, and body image. And I would say the feminism's impact in society is huge. It changed many, many structures and changed many, many norms, and what we call like normal became questionable as feminism pushed its arguments. So these are some of the very basic things about feminism. I wanted to provide this before we get into your reading, the second sex. And thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.